Hello. So Chasca's banner is coming out in a few days, so I looked at videos of her gameplay and I like it a lot. And since I was planning to pull for her, I watched a bunch of videos talking about her teams. But there was basically always the three same teams that would come back every time, and I feel like she has some decent potential to make goofy teams that work pretty well. So I wanted to mess around with that. But before messing around, we have to get her and we have to build her. And I realized I almost had a goofy amount of Primogems, so I went to craft a random item to trigger a tutorial, got my Primogem, and perfect! Now we just need to wait for Chasca's banner. Alright, 5.2 has arrived. It's time to pull for Chasca, but first, we remove everyone from the party. We grab the Anemo Traveler, very important. We go to the new area, we go up this cliff, we drop, and let's go. I'm at 0 pity, but I have a guaranteed 4-star right now, so let's get a Roron. Ideally, I'd like to get 3 Roron. That is not a good start. Okay. I have a bad feeling about this. Maybe getting 66,666 Primogems was not a good idea. Okay. Auroron. What? 3 in a row? Nah. Okay, Auroron. Bro, what? That's... The worst part is that I would be happy to get Sucrose. I just don't want Barbara. It's the only one I don't want. Okay, Auroron. Auroron! What?! How is this even possible? I got 5 Barbaras in a row. What the hell? Okay. You know what? I'll take it. My Stringos is not R5. And at least it's not a Barbara. Why? What? How? I got 6 Barbaras. 0 Sucrose, 0 Auroron. 6 Barbaras. That's insane. Alright, please, Auroron. It's time to come. Alright, I'm fine with that. I do want Sucrose. Okay, it's time. Alright, Favonius Bow, I'll take it. I would kinda like an Auroron, though, you know. Please. Okay. That's good. That's good. I'll take it. One more Sucrose and I get C6. That's nice. I'm in soft pity territory. The 5-star is right now. Any click now? Okay. Auroron just before Chasca? This is not Auroron. Okay. 50-50. Please. Alright. Well, at least we won the 50-50. Now the question is, do I keep gambling for Auroron? Whatever, I'm going for it. I know that I'm gonna get Auroron right now anyway, so that's Auroron. We're good to go. We're good. Godmother! Auroron! I'm getting tired of it. Please! Yes!
Hello.
Finally!
From the Masters of the Night Wind.
It only took 8 Barbaras!
Oh, don't worry.
Alright, now let's go to building them. Let's see what we have for Chasca. This is not bad. Oh, this is great. Okay, let's see what we get. Anything but HP, I'll take it. Of course. Yeah, I mean, that was to be expected. Oh, Lord. Whatever, I'm getting it to 20. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I stopped caring a long time ago. Let's give this one a final chance. Okay, that's pretty good. So here's the final build. This is decent. This is not bad. It's pretty good. This is still a good piece despite the HP rolls. There's a lot of ER on this one, but it's still double crit. I'll take it, whatever. And this one is a bit unfortunate, but it got attack roll. So yeah, now let's level her up. And boom. So the final build is 2.4k attack, 59.9 plus 40, basically 100, 202.9, 153, no EM. I would have liked to get a little bit of EM. Weapon is the Skyward Harp, artifacts 4-piece Obsidian Codex, and talents are 210-8. HSC 0 obviously. Auroron is absolutely not built though. I didn't have enough resin, so he might deal a bit less damage than expected in this video. Alright, now that our Chasca has a proper build, it's time to try out some teams. And before trying the goofy teams, I wanted to try a few of the more conventional teams first, so we can have a baseline to compare with. Firstly, I tried the obvious Bennett Xiongling Farina team, and unsurprisingly, it's really good. It has a bunch of AoE, 3 characters dealing damage simultaneously, and 2 characters buffing Chasca's damage, so naturally it works like wonders. And out of all of the teams I've tried, this was definitely the most efficient one. However, you might be tired of putting Bennett, Xiongling, and Farina in every team, so let's check out a few alternatives. First, you can replace Xiongling with Auroron, giving you the 3 different element buffs for Chasca's passive, as well as triggering the Cinder Scroll City set. And despite my Auroron not being properly built, this team was still surprisingly good, being just a bit slower than the Xiongling variant. You can also try replacing Auroron with Xilonen. Now, you do lose some damage from having a Geo character in the team, which makes you lose some infused bullets on Chasca, but her resistance shred almost completely makes up for it. She also provides more comfort by being a secondary healer, making it easier to counter Farina's health drain than when you only have Bennett as the sole healer. I also tried making an ultra carry Chasca with Bennett, Mona, and Farina, so 3 buffers in the team. And despite clearly not optimizing my builds, it was also a really solid team. Not as good as the Bennett Xiongling Farina team, but it was still pretty good, and it feels nice seeing some huge damage on Chasca's first 2 charge attacks. You can also replace Farina with Mona instead of Xiongling. I haven't personally tried it, but I think it should work pretty well. Then, I wanted to talk about Lila. First, I tried the Bennett Lila Farina team that I've seen a bunch of people recommend, and personally, I didn't really like it. It's not bad, but instead of replacing Xiongling with Lila, I much preferred replacing Farina. This makes for a very comfortable team. You have a shield to protect yourself, you don't have to worry about healing the whole team with Bennett to keep up with Farina's HP drain, and the damage output is still really good. It was also particularly good in this abyss, because with the Hydro-resistant enemies like the Hydro Tulpa, the Hydro-infused bullets from Farina would not deal any damage, and having a shield against him can save you in some situations. By the way, talking about the Tulpa, there's a little trick you can use to make him a lot easier to fight. If you fly towards him for a bit before holding your charged attack, you can use his body as a slope to gain more height, and then you'll be too high for him to hit you, making the fight a lot easier. Alright, now that the more conventional teams have been covered, let's talk about some more goofy teams. The first team I had in mind was a Burgeon team with Bennett, Nahida, and Farina. My hope was that Chasca would sometimes trigger the Dendrocores with her Pyro Bullets to make some Burgeons, while still having 3 characters in the team that buff her damage. However, I quickly realized that there was a little problem. She does not trigger the seeds. That's a flop. So after this disappointing discovery, I decided to use it to my advantage. Since she doesn't seem to trigger the seeds, she's not going to interfere with bloom related reactions. So the first thing I tried is a Hyper Bloom team with Baiju, Farina and Raiden. Now, it definitely cleared quite noticeably slower than the previous teams, but it's still pretty comfortable to play with lots of flexibility in the rotation, and it was still able to clear the first half in about a minute. I also tried replacing Raiden with Dea to make a Burgeon team, and it has its upsides and downsides. Having a pyro unit synergizes more with Chasca, since it allows her to do some pyro reactions like Vaporize, and Burgeon deals damage in AoE, which does help making up for Chasca's very single target oriented damage. However, Dea is a bit more inconsistent than Raiden at triggering the seeds, so it doesn't feel as comfortable to play. I also tried a team with Sarah, but since my Sarah is not C6, it was pretty disappointing. But honestly, I think that even if your Sarah is C6, you're probably better off with a Roron, but if you like Sarah, you can go for it. I also wanted to try Shenhe, but I don't have her, and it seems like she's not coming back. Then, out of curiosity, I wanted to see how bad an Anemo DPS Chasca with C6 Farazan would be. It was absolutely terrible, don't even try it. After that, I realized that literally every team in this video so far either had Bennett or Farina in the team, so I tried to make a budget team without any of them for those of you who hate circle impact and HP drain. And honestly, the team was pretty good. You do lose a lot of damage on Chasca from not having Bennett and Farina in the team, and you do have to play Xiangling's solo pyro because there's not a whole lot of good off-field pyro units, but you can just use Xiangling's burst every other rotation if you don't have enough energy, and it was still able to clear the first room in just about a minute, which is faster than the Hyper Bloom team. Okay, now let's move on to the final team of this video. It is definitely not the strongest one, but it's for sure my favorite. Dual carry Chasca with Mualani. It sounds weird, but let me explain. Basically, the strategy of this team is that instead of doing one long rotation to maximize your Chasca's damage, you're instead going to alternate between two short rotations, one with a Chasca Bennett duo and one with a Xiangling Mualani duo. It sounds very dumb, but it's actually pretty good. You have 3 FEC elements in the team, only Hydro and Pyro, so your Chasca is consistently going to vape some of her hits. You have Pyro Resonance for Chasca, Xiangling still has Bennett to help with her energy a little bit, Mualani can help with the AoE struggles that Chasca has, and most importantly, it's very fun to play. Would the team be better if you replaced Mualani with Farina? Yes. Would the team be better if you just played a hyper carry Mualani instead? Probably. But that's not the point. The point is to make a fun team that can comfortably clear the abyss while playing your favorite characters together. And as someone who really likes playing both Chasca and Mualani, I love this team. And as you can see from the timer, it can still clear very comfortably. Alright, that was it for the teams, but before finishing the video, I also want to point out how good Chasca is for exploration. So here's some background footage of me zooming around the map at Mach 2 speed while I talk about my final thoughts. Overall, I'm really happy with Chasca. I mainly pulled her for exploration, and she does an amazing job at that. She's not at the top of the meta, but she can still do some very respectable damage. And I really like the concept of a rainbow DPS. I think it's a really cool idea, and I think they executed it pretty well. Now, despite enjoying her a lot and being very happy with her performance, there's still 2 little things that did bother me a bit when playing her, so I have to point them out. Firstly, I have to address the elephant in the room. Her AoE damage is really bad. to the point where even killing some random mobs in the overworld takes quite a bit of time, forcing me to switch to another character to deal with small groups of mobs quickly. It's not a huge deal, but it's still a bit sad to have practically no AoE, especially on an exploration-focused character. Also, the fact that she can only charge up her bullets when she locks onto an enemy makes her a bit frustrating to play against enemies like the Weenut that often move out of the stage and become invulnerable, leaving you standing there like a chicken waiting for the enemy to reappear while your Night Soul points are slowly evaporating into thin air. Anyway, that's basically all I wanted to say about Chasca. Overall, pretty cool character, great single target damage, and an absolute monster in exploration. I mean, look at that, she's still going! Soaring through the skies of Tevat on her massive revolver, and absolutely nothing can stop her.
How about we explore the area ahead of us later?